Hey, what's going on, guys? So I just saw Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and I gotta say, I actually really like this one. It wasn't like the movie was not like I don't. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad either. So let me try to explain this. The movie it is really good. I recommend going to see it. It's just that when you watch the movie, you feel the same feeling almost. Well, maybe not the same feeling. I wouldn't say the same feeling that you felt from watching the first one. I would say feeling a different feeling, but the same level of effect of that feeling, if that makes sense. Kind of like almost like a same score almost. And I actually have never reviewed the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, so I'm gonna say it right now. Based off of what I've told you guys so far is basically that these two are basically going to be the same score, and that because it just felt like that this movie, it was good, but it didn't exceed the what the original did with the first movie. It didn't do less than that. It was kind of at the same level of what it was giving you. What it didn't give you too. It didn't feel like it gave me more than what I thought I was gonna get. It didn't. I didn't feel like I got less either, if that makes sense. So let's talk about the story. We already know the characters, if you've seen the first movie, Star-Lord and Gamora and Drax and Rocket and little Baby Groot, which I will talk about Baby Groot a little bit later in this video. So the story, there's kind of two stories. There's a story about Rocket, and then there's a story about Rocket and Yondu, and then you got the story about Star-Lord and the rest of the gang. And that's basically so we got two stories. Okay, we got two stories. And at first I was like, what's going on? You're trying to figure it all out. I felt like that there were some pacing issues with this movie than the original. The pacing was kind of rushy at the beginning, but as we get to the ending of the movie, then it gets kind of more mellow and a little bit a better rhythm, or whatever you want to call it. How do I say this? Guardians of the Galaxy 2, the story's good. Both of the stories are good. It's just, I don't know. It was good, but like I said, it wasn't like better than the first one. It wasn't worse than the first one. It was at the same level. It didn't feel any different, except the fact that we already know the characters and we already know how they work with each other and stuff like that. So other than that, it's not too different than the first one. I mean, the only thing that's different is little Baby Groot and the story. That's really it. I mean, yes, there's a little bit of character development with some characters, like Peter, like we saw in the trailer, finally meeting his dad, and he's got that family bond with him a little bit, and then, Baby Groot, I felt like, when I was watching Baby Groot, a lot of people were praising Baby Groot, like, oh my gosh, Baby Groot is going to be the best part of the movie, and honestly, he wasn't. He was probably just as good, with the comedy and being himself, nothing really changed about, that. So, everyone felt like had a good balance in this movie. I didn't feel like anybody was taken out of balance, or one person got more screen time than the other person. I felt like everyone got a good balance of screen time, and little bit of character development and backstory. The only one I think didn't have character development was probably Drax and Groot. Those two didn't really get a lot of character development. I felt like in the first movie, Drax and Groot got more character development than they did in this one. And I felt like those two got a lot of character development, but in this movie, Star-Lord, Gamora, and Rocket got more character development. So it's kind of weird. It's like they kind of were like, oh, we got to do these three still. I don't know. It was but it was still good. I know I sound like I didn't enjoy the movie, but I'm reviewing this like day after I just saw the movie, so it's a good movie. It's a really good movie. There was even a moment in the movie where I like almost like cried. Like it was really good. I really enjoyed it. The action. There's a lot of action in this movie. I think there's a lot of action. There's a lot more action than there was in the first one. Just almost non-stop action. And sometimes even, like, you're watching the action, you're like, what happened again? How do we get to this part in the movie? Like, sometimes, like, we'll, like, just jump randomly to different scenes. Like, we won't have a really good transition. It just kind of jumps. So that was a little weird. But like I said, as it got to the end, then it got better. I've been thinking about this for a while. I've been thinking about, like, what would I give Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2? You know, what would I give it? Well, just based off thinking about this movie, because we're gonna stay on this movie, not the first one, because this is not about that movie. This one, yeah, there are pacing issues. Yeah, there are a few characters that didn't really get enough character development, who I thought were gonna be a little bit more interesting, or it didn't really go 100% how I thought it was gonna go, but it was still a good movie. So the pacing and a little bit of the characters, there were a lot of I'm not gonna spoil it. Sorry about the weird cut there. Back to the review. So, like I said, what would I give this movie? Like I said, the pacing is meh at the beginning. The story, there are two stories, and you at first don't know what they're really doing at the beginning, but they eventually merge the stories, which is cool. So those are the two issues I had with the movie. Other than that, and also there were some characters I thought were gonna be hilarious, but it kind of pulled a Deadpool on me, where it was like they put all the best jokes in the trailer type of thing. I mean, there were, like I said, there were funny jokes, but like I said, the best ones were in the trailer. So there's that. I mean, there was a funny one. There was a really funny one, but other than that one, that's it. That was yeah. You had all the best jokes in the trailer. There were a few other ones that were funny, but it wasn't on par when we first saw them in the trailer. So it was just those three, and they're little, so I'm gonna kind of count them half-ishes, and probably for pacing as a 1. So then that means I would give Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Hold on a second. Man, nothing just wants me to do a review today. I've got my brother's birds just squawking. They won't shut up. Back to what I was saying. An 8. It's an 8 out of 10 for the second one and for the first one. Maybe I would give the first one a higher score if I went back and saw it and saw what I liked and didn't like about it. Honestly, you know what? I take that back. I think the first one is a 9 out of 10. This one is an 8. Which is, don't worry, that doesn't sound mean. It's just, you know what? No. We're right now, for the sake of this video, we're going to say 8. Because I feel like I'm going to get hated for this. They're at the same level. They're not above or below each other. So and they're both 8s. 8 out of 10s, solid movies. I'm not gonna go into spoilers because I feel like I don't need to do that for this video. I would say see the movie for yourself. Let me know what you think. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it was kind of my pacing was a little weird, it's just as the movies was, but yeah, thank you guys for watching, and yeah, 8 out of 10 for Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Thank you for watching, and I'm out of here. Up, up, and away. See you guys.